You're listening to Galaxy of Film.
Alright guys, welcome back to the brain episode of Galaxy of Film. I'm of course your host Max, and I'm joined this week by none other than my co-host Dakari. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I cannot complain. I just finished my summer quarter of grad school, and I'm so happy to be finally taking a break and getting things together before the fall. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good.
Good to hear. Good, dude. God, I can't even talk. Good to hear, dude. Jesus.
How about yourself?
I'm surviving, dude. I'm surviving. Back here in Idaho now, where I'm going to school currently. I know we just did our last episode when I was in Fayetteville, so I had to come back over, which was a little hectic. It's about a 3-4 day drive across the country for that. Get settled back in this week. Classes just started again. Yeah, it's been a little hectic. And first of all, I want to go ahead and apologize to our listeners for the delay on the season premiere for season 4. We'll go ahead and address that real quick now. For the reasons I just listed. Like, we recorded the episode. The next day, I had to get ready to hit the road. And we were like, holy shit, we don't have a chance to edit this beforehand. Really overshot ourselves. So we just didn't want to give you guys, a half-assed season premiere. So apologies for the delay. But you know what? We're all good to go. Like we mentioned before, new podcast distributor, new platform. We got to go ahead and acknowledge the new audio, which has sounded pretty cool too. Like, I don't know, man. I'm loving the way season 4 sounded so far, truly. So, but yeah, that's my long-winded answer to Kari. I'm doing pretty okay over here. But yeah, man, we got some cool action films we're talking about this week in the podcast.
Yeah, some pretty cool movies.
Yeah, this is kind of like what 2025 has to offer for their best with action, I feel like. Nothing else is on my radar that comes out this year that's just straight action-packed, revenge, kind of fueled anger and aggression in a film. You know what I'm saying? So that is what we're discussing this week with Nobody 2 and Ballerina, or should I call it by its true name, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina, which is just an insane mouthful that we'll be talking about later on. But yeah, before we even dive into news, though, and dive into our films, a couple announcements for just in-house things. As I mentioned before, sorry guys for the delay in the episode. One thing I do want to talk about, first and foremost, because we talked about this last episode, was at the 5 Points Film Festival in Raleigh, North Carolina. We won 3rd place, dude.
Oh yeah, man.
Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's kind of cool, man. That's kind of cool. I mean, it ain't first or nothing, but to win, top 3 is still a milestone. You know what I'm saying?
By all means, some incredible films were shown that night. Had a great time being at the 2nd annual one. We'll definitely be submitting again in the future because we're taking it home at some point, dude. This next film we have up our sleeves. Would you like fries of that? That's a winner right there. So 5 points. Be ready for us next year.
Yeah.
But thank you for hosting this year. What an honor. Really, really enjoyed that. And speaking of film festivals, has been accepted into another one in North Carolina, the Beaufort Film Fest, or the Beaufort Picture Show, depending on what you like to call it. This is going to be the 5th one they have done over in Beaufort, and also the final one they're doing. So what an honor for to be at the final Beaufort Film Festival. If you aren't familiar with what the hell or where the hell Beaufort is, it's the Outer Banks in North Carolina. If you've watched my content from all the way back in CBD 12 days, we shot so many things in Beaufort, but more importantly, we shot in Beaufort. It's where my aunt and uncle reside. We have a lot of history there as a family, a lot of love in that city. And it's a huge honor to not only shot a movie there that's kind of like a love letter to the state and highlights that city specifically, but to also, show it there, have an audience for it there. That's freaking cool, dude. So thank you guys very much at the Beaufort Film Fest. We cannot wait for that. That festival will be early November, I believe November 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be talking a bit more about that as we go ahead and get closer and closer to that festival. And of course, I'll be talking about my experience briefly here on the podcast about it too. But look forward to that and stay up to date with our social media because we'll post ticket information in case you guys are local. But yeah, moving on to other short films, Dakari. Your short film, your directorial debut, Man of the House, is coming very soon. Ideally within the next month or so. I know we're just waiting on a final export. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I do. Listen, it's a long time coming. We've had to do a lot of polishing. We've had to do a lot of final structuring and editing to the overall piece. But I feel like this version is not only going to be a bit different from what you guys saw at the showcase, but I believe this is going to be the definitive version of the film. I feel like this is the best version that we've got on our hands here. You know, it's going to be a little bit different. It's still going to be the same movie. Nothing exactly is going to change about the story, but the experience is going to be different, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Okay, dude. Shit, I'm producing this thing and I'm excited to see it again.
Wait, you didn't get a chance to look at the final cut, bro?
Nah, yeah, I'm waiting for that colored version to go ahead and see. I'm waiting for the
man,
because there's all the adjustments in the credits we had to make too. So I wanted to see it polished. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward for this one.
This is it.
By all means.
This is it.
Looking forward to it. You guys can expect that ideally in the next month or so. So we can go ahead and get that out to the world, because you got some other films in the tank, but we also have another film coming out ideally this October, of what I've heard as well. And of course, that is also long awaited, The Acts of Violence by William Kish. So really excited for both of these films to come out. It's been a long time coming, dude, for both of them, but like for all the right reasons, which I love to hear. You know, nothing's being rushed.
For all the right reasons. And then, you know, I got a couple more films under my belt that I've, you know, completed while I was at, you know, grad school these past few quarters. And eventually I'll be more than happy to share those.
Cannot wait, guys. Cannot wait. You've heard it here first, but what you guys are also about to hear is some news here at Galaxy of Film. So diving into what we got this week, you know, we also talked about Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, a little bit of Rocky last week, Dakari. He's back in our news this week for our only big piece. Anthony Ippolito? I'm sorry for butchering the hell out of that, but he's been cast. He's been cast as Stallone in the I Play Rocky biopic. I had no clue this was a thing until today.
I Play Rocky.
Yeah, it's a story all about Stallone getting the rights to make Rocky in the first place. You know, he had to sell the dog, obviously. It's the story of that, which is interesting. Anthony has only been... The only film I've seen Anthony in has been Pixels. Yes, The Pixels. You're thinking of the right one, 2015.
I forgot about Pixels, man. I forgot about that damn shitty-ass movie.
I think he's a kid in it. Yeah, he's 13-year-old Brenner in that film. But more importantly...
Oh, he looks exactly like Sylvester Stallone. What the fuck?
More importantly, though, there's this mini-series called The Offer, where he plays Al Pacino in this. So, I don't know, man. I've never seen this guy act before, other than... maybe briefly in Pixels. I don't even remember that movie. But I'm excited for this.
I'm excited now too. I was a little bit skeptical on who they picked, but looking at the actor, bro, like he looks almost exactly like Sylvester Stallone. That could be his damn son. Like what?
You know, the crazy part is his son has actually been in Rocky.
Yeah, I know his son has been in Rocky. That's the crazy part. But this guy looks like almost exactly like young Sylvester Stallone. Like this is a great casting choice.
Yes,
great casting choice.
I have no clue how this film's going to turn out. I mean, it's a very moving story. I'm shocked it's turning into a film right now. I feel like Stallone is like super relevant still with Tulsa City. His daughters have that reality show going on. Like
Tulsa King.
Tulsa King. His daughters have that show going on. Like, he's still in we're talking about Rambo last week, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's weird timing for a movie like this to be made. So I hope it's bold enough and gives a reason for itself to exist, you know, and isn't just a weird Stallone's on a roll, we got to go ahead and make a movie about him kind of thing. So who knows? Do you have any final thoughts on this one though, Dakari?
Well, shit, I hope it's good. Whoever's behind it, I hope you do the story justice, because now I'm invested. I didn't know who Anthony Ippolito was, but seeing who he actually is and seeing that he fares Stallone pretty well, I'm interested in checking this out, for sure.
So you might say that you're invested Stallone.
Oh my God! Here we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Moving on though from news.
All right.
Also, real quick, I forgot to mention earlier, we did drop a new episode of recent views on our podcast, or on our Patreon, excuse me. Like we've mentioned before, guys, clearly this is a new season of Galaxy of Film. There's some major revamps coming to both the company, the website, the shows, all of that. Patreon is one of those things. So we have taken a little bit of a hiatus from uploading recent views. I believe Will and Brandon this week went ahead, go ahead and upload an episode on there, though, so you can check out the Patreon link down below. But yeah, some things that I watched recently, not kind of turning us into a recent views segment, but Dakari, I did it, man. I did it. I've gone back on my word. I wasn't on the episode during season 3. Brandon hosted that episode live, actually. I was out of town. But I have watched a bit of the DCU. I know I was super against it and I'm not going to watch this. I did watch Superman in theaters. I saw it in 3D 40X, which is nuts, in Times Square.
Okay, you talking about James Gunn, right? Talking
Correct,
about the new one that just came out.
The DCU.
All right. Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of the movie. There's aspects I really like of it. I love Lex Luthor, but overall I'm not too big of a fan of the movie. I'm just not sold on the humor. However, though, I was super curious after watching Superman. I'm not going to watch Creature Commandos or whatever else is currently out there. But I did watch the season 2 premiere of Peacemaker. Now, I did watch the entirety of season 1 when that came out a couple years ago. And I forget what episode that wrapped up around. I want to say it was near like Multiverse of Madness or something. Was around the time that Peacemaker ended. And I think we just kind of like discussed the whole season within that episode. So our audience, apologies if I'm wrong and if I'm just citing a random episode for the hell of it. I was not super crazy on season 1. Like Peacemaker season 1 felt very much almost like South Park in a sense, where like it had the shock value kind of humor. And I think that worked to a degree. But like when I'm only getting that for 8 episodes, I'm a little bit tired. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Peacemaker season 1 started off really strong and just like kind of fell and had a cool ending, but that was kind of it. You know, it plateaus for me completely. And it's mainly just the humor. Like I think James Gunn does better with R-rated material. I genuinely do. I agree. I'm not seeing a lot of that out of him, you know? I love his Scooby-Doo stuff. I would have killed to see the R-rated film, but like I'm not seeing that in Superman, and I understand that, but it just isn't working for me because it's not fully crossing that line, I feel like.
Yeah, I gotta remember you don't fuck with Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
I do. 1 and 2, man. 1 and 2 I love, just not 3.
Oh, you like 1 and 2?
I love 1 and 2. I love 2. 2's my favorite, but yeah. Talking about the Peacemaker though, I watched season 2 because I saw like a TV spot that kind of spoiled it. Did you watch the premiere, Dakari, before I just ruin it for you?
No, I didn't watch Peacemaker yet.
Any of it?
No.
Okay,
I haven't seen any of it.
All right, so in the season 2 premiere, there's a whole like weird, like they advertise a multiverse thing. I'm seeing 2 Peacemakers on screen, and I'm assuming, we're killing the DCEU, right? Because obviously John Cena is one of the castings that's coming over, and is now in the DCU. So I'm thinking, we're finally gonna put a little bow on the DCEU, right? And finally set it off fully. No, it's really messy, like a genuinely messy thing. And again, the reasons why I don't like James Gunn, and for the people in the comments that are all pissed off, I also don't like Zack Snyder. You know, I'm equally just not happy at DC currently. As much as I don't like him, I was really hoping that like, okay, like if Superman's your big bold beginning of this universe, and Peacemaker is going to be the thing that like kind of cleans up everything, does a little bit of housekeeping, and like really sets not the foundation of the new universe, but like it sets things straight for what is canon, what's not canon. And instead of doing this kind of storyline that would have been a little bit like poking fun at DCU and just the multiverse bullshit in general, it's thrown out the window and everything's just retconned. And the multiverse story I thought we were getting was completely not there. It's its own self-contained thing. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't really care to know where it's going to go, to be honest with you, after seeing the premiere. I don't know. And I know that just makes you sound like a little whiny bitch boy because I'm not getting my Zack Snyder bullshit. I don't want the Zack Snyder bullshit. I just wanted something to end properly, for the love of God, dude. Like, I watched all those movies opening weekend
Yeah, I feel you.
since BVS. You know, like make me feel like I didn't just get spit in the face and robbed for everything I viewed. Yeah, man. I don't want to ruin it too much for you in general with what's going on with like the finale of Peacemaker season 1, or anything else you may or may not have seen. But like, I was severely disappointed just realizing that we're not getting any sort of like explanation. It's just we're going to reshoot a scene from the last one, and so our recap video, it just looks like something else never happened. And like, I get it. That's cheaper. It might work on paper, but like it just felt super lazy, and it didn't feel like the Suicide Squad in Peacemaker season 1 even mattered to me. Like, I don't know. It really hurt my viewpoint on what's going on with this, and it's a shame because it's John Cena's best role as an actor. And I mean that. Like, he is becoming a better and better actor as Peacemaker goes on. Yeah, dude. There's some emotion in season 2 with him, and I'm surprised. I've been not a huge John Cena fan the last like 10 years or so. I've always been more of like the Dave Bautista kind of guy when it comes to the wrestlers turn actors. But he's solid. Yeah, because
Dave Bautista's been consistent. Like, he's been knocking out of the park since
Blade Runner.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, Guardians, but I'm talking about like in terms of a serious kind of thing, you know? Like,
yeah, like Blade Runner, Spectre, Army of the Dead. Even he was good in that.
Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night movie.
Knock at the Cabin. Shit, like he's shown to be a very versatile actor with range.
Yeah,
for sure. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Dave Bautista, man.
Absolutely, dude. And finally,
and
Dune as well. You're right. He's also in Dune. Yeah.
Man, shout out Dave Bautista, bro. You got a resume. Shout out.
And finally, dude, I feel like similar with John Cena with Peacemaker season 2, but like I just don't know if it's enough for me to keep on with this show. You know, okay. I might watch the second episode. It drops tomorrow as of the time we're recording this. We'll see. I'm not promising anything because like I'm just a little let down. You know, I was really hoping to start things off on a better foot than this. But enough bitching about DC. The other thing I watched in terms of shows that we've talked about in this podcast before, South Park. We're in the new season still. We kind of gave our thoughts during the premiere of this season on that first episode, excuse me. As of this time, 3 episodes are out. I've only watched the first 2. The second one deals with Christy Noem and how she shot her dog years ago. This episode all plays into a lot of that, which is funny. We get JD Vance as a little tiny baby man, which is hilarious. Just solid. It's really solid so far. And this episode specifically,
she shot her dog, eh?
Yeah, dead ass, dude. That's who's fucking.
The fuck?
Yeah, that's who's kicking out immigrants right now.
Okay, bro.
Fucking nuts, dude. Fucking nuts. But anyways, episode really dogs in on her. Dogs in on JD Vance a bit. It's fun. This season of South Park, dude, it's crazy the traction and the weight each of these episodes is having. And no matter what, if anyone wants to try throwing it in anyone's face, I mean, like, we've seen South Park pissing people off clearly before with Kanye. That's something you and I have joked about 100 times. You know, and now here we are, and South Park's got the full national, like legit national attention, bro. It's fucking nuts. And you got the White House Twitter page posting about this shit. I don't know. It's a fun episode, fun season so far. Looking forward to episode 3. I know, like, it's Tally going to DC as DC's like under Trump's control type of shit. So I gotta watch that still. You'll hear my thoughts on the episode next week. Stay tuned for it. Have you had a chance to watch any of South Park lately, Dakari, other than us talking about?
Not yet, man.
I gotcha.
Not yet, man.
It's fun stuff, though. It's pretty fun this season. Let's go ahead and move on to our last segment before we go ahead and take a break, Dakari. And of course, that is none other than the podcast polls. Do you want to go ahead and get the Facebook fan club one pulled up for me and the Instagram stories? I'll go ahead and get the YouTube one posted for us.
You said Instagram stories, right?
Correct. I'll be under the archive tab. Okay. Now, guys, for our listeners who are new to the show, every Sunday on our social media, that'll be across our Instagram, our Blue Sky, our Threads, our YouTube page, our Facebook page and our Facebook fan group will all have polls going on and on discussing whatever films we're coming up and talking about the upcoming week. So this week we're going to be focusing on Instagram stories. We're focusing on the fan club on Facebook and YouTube specifically. And over on YouTube with a couple of votes, the poll was, which action sequel / spinoff this year do you like better, Nobody 2 or Ballerina? And 100% of the voters, with 4 voters, said Nobody 2, which is pretty funny. Dakari, which one do you have pulled up currently, Facebook or do you have the Instagram?
Instagram pulled up.
All right, what are we looking at so far?
Okay, so we looking at neck and neck right now. Both Nobody 2 and Ballerina have 50-50.
Okay.
So each film has 3 votes.
Okay, and let's take a look at the fan club, which we are looking at as well. All right, we have 2 votes over for Ballerina, and we got only 1 vote for Nobody 2 on the fan club, which is kind of crazy. So we'll be talking about these movies in just a few moments. It's interesting, though, and I think part of the conversation, the car that we're going to be having tonight, is the marketing for Ballerina. Because, while I feel that Nobody 2 is a sleeper in terms of both the marketing and just because people didn't watch the first one like that, unfortunately, Ballerina comes from this crazy series that's turned into a franchise. And I don't want to say it flopped, but, I wasn't hearing about it.
Compared to the other John Wick movies,
yeah,
it kind of did. Let's be honest.
So let's go ahead, take a quick little break, go over our stream of the week this week, brought to you by none other than our man Tyler Jansen. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Nobody 2 and from the world of John Wick, Ballerina.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Our rating system is inspired by the planets from the Star Wars films. From highest to lowest, this is how we do our rankings. Number 5.
Coruscant. The entire planet is one big city.
Number 4.
Bespin. We're pretty far, but I think we can make it.
Number 3.
Hold me like you did by the lake on Naboo.
Number 2.
Set your course for the Hoth system.
And lastly, number 1.
Back to why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Hey, what's up? It's Tyler with Stream of the Week. I got a horror one for you this time called The Visit. So these 2 teenagers, brother and sister, this is found footage style, but they never met their grandparents before. So their mom decides, hey, I'm gonna ship you off to your grandparents and you're gonna spend 4 days with them. So they get there and the grandparents are weird as hell, man. And then plot twist, it's not actually their grandparents. Yeah, it's imposters that escaped from the mental hospital and actually had the grandparents dead in the basement. It's pretty creepy, man. I think I watched it about 10 years ago when it first came out. I say give it a watch if you want to be creeped out, and especially if you want to see imposter grandpa shit his pants or imposter grandma naked trying to climb up the wall or something. You can find it on Prime Video, and there's a few other platforms if you're willing to pay for it as well. Yeah, bro.
Alright guys, and we're back from our break. First up on the list this week is Nobody 2. Now, Dakari, Nobody is actually a film that I had a chance to catch in theaters back when we first started Galaxy of Film, and it's actually the only movie on the podcast that I've covered twice. I attempted to cover this during our original Phantom Menace episode when we were still figuring out what we were doing, and then we decided Star Wars episodes would be their own thing. So I re-reviewed Nobody last year when we covered Sisu as well. Have you? I know you didn't get a chance to watch Nobody in theaters. It's more of a recent watch for you.
No.
So what are your thoughts on the original?
Recent watch. Oh, I watched the first Nobody for the first time last night, and I fucking loved it. I honestly think that it might be the ultimate dad movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you know the nuance of Bob Odenkirk having to, you know, channel his old school auditor army past life to protect his family, while his dad, who's in a nursing home, is having to back him up in the long run. It's just it's powerful stuff, man. It's all about really, because I can't relate to having a family or nothing like that. I can't relate to, going out on my own and doing my own thing with, my own set of people, and, living a specific lifestyle with a family that I started. But one thing I can relate to is coming out of your shell to protect your loved ones, not just your well-being, but your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I can relate to the most when it comes to Nobody. You could say this, oh, this is basically a John Wick ripoff and da-da-da-da. No, this is different because John Wick technically had no family.
Yeah, we see him lose
his was basically already... We see him lose it at the beginning of the film, and that's what makes John Wick John Wick. What makes this guy in Nobody who he is, what makes him Nobody, is that he's a fucking family man, and that's all he wants to be. But and that's all he wants to be. Like, he doesn't want to be pushed over to the edge because he knows that things could potentially fall apart for all the things that he's worked so hard to build with his family. But when it gets to that fucking point, he has to show motherfuckers who he is. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the main reason why I really enjoy, I really love the first one, because it really has such a powerful message. You know what I'm saying? And it's something I can relate to, certain aspects of it at least.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, I love the
first
one.
Chance to mention the incredible performance of RZA as well. Obviously you mentioned Christopher Lloyd as the father, but like RZA as the the brother of Bob Odenkirk is just crazy in this as well, dude. Like,
RZA, man. Seeing RZA in this movie, well, I knew it was RZA when I heard his voice on the damn radio system that Bob Odenkirk's character was speaking to him through. I'm like, oh, that sounds like RZA. And then when he shows up in the finale with the sniper, I'm like, Yep, I knew it. That's RZA. It's so cool. It's so cool seeing RZA do these crazy action movies now, man. Like, how you come from fucking a cameo in Ghost Dog?
I was about to say, I agree, dude. Ghost Dog. Yeah.
How you come from a cameo in Ghost Dog to this shit right here? Like, he has action sequences, spoiler alert, in both movies. Like, fucking nuts, man. Shout out to RZA, man. Shout out to the Abbott for sure.
Fucking love RZA, man. I got a chance to meet RZA last month. Crazy enough, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking crazy.
I know that.
Tying into Nobody 2, because like I said, I had a chance to see Nobody when it came out. What was this, 2020 or something, or maybe 2021? A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Regardless, this always felt like the movie that like wasn't going to get a sequel, that I just kept wanting to get one. Here we finally are. It's summer themed. I didn't see much of the trailers for this one. I didn't want to necessarily like go in blind to it, but it wasn't on my radar. I knew the movie was coming out. I knew I was going to see it. I didn't have to have the advertisements for it. So I go in. I see it the other night at the local theater over here. It's kind of shitty. I walk in, and what I wasn't prepared for, dude, was Bob Odenkirk not only doing the Nobody thing again, but like, Nobody is mixed with the third Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, Dog Days, / the fourth book, Dog Days. It's just summertime madness and fun in this film. So it's a little bit, years, months later, they don't really go into too much detail, but the kids have aged normally and appropriately. So we can assume it's a few years later. It's not one of those things where we're going to keep the kids as kids when it's really 20-year-olds playing them. So some time has passed.
Right, like...
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, like, you referencing one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies and shit. What was one of the movies that Zachary... What was the last movie that Zachary
that was Dog
Gordon
Days.
Was in?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely like in his early 20s by then. So, yeah.
So, moving on with this one, we're getting this started off. It's some time has passed. We now see Bob Odenkirk, in this position where he's got his job back. He's got his drive, his passion back, if you will. And it's just kind of consumed him in the wrong way yet again. So he's falling in the same habits we saw from the first film. He's neglecting his wife a little bit. They're not really connecting on an emotional or just a physical level either. They're hardly seeing each other. She's debating having a divorce. We're getting the whole "we need to talk" bit. You've feared that text message before. You've seen those dots come up on the screen and begged to fucking life that they're gonna go away. And we see that in this film. So
yeah.
Once Bob Odenkirk's kind of, I'm forgetting his name in the film. I don't care. It's Bob Odenkirk to me.
Hutch.
Once little Hutchy Bob is like, yo, we gotta save my wife and kids with love this time. He takes him on a little vacation out of Plummerville, where it was the only family vacation he and his brother had with their father as kids. And Plummerville is just like your state of the art, dated as hell, kind of middle of nowhere water park, arcade, boardwalk, just the generic beach kind of stuff for the lake vibes, So as they're exploring Plummerville and getting to this situation where they're getting coupons for everything and not really getting the experience they wanted, while they're in the arcade, there's some trouble that arises. Our little son kind of gets into a fist fight as he's on the way out. Security wants to be a dick, and they push Bob's daughter, Hutch's daughter, as he's on his way out. So he goes back in and he shows them what a nobody can do, and he beats their ass. And during all this, though, as they're arrested and as they're confronted and interrogated by the corrupt police, it's revealed that, hey, we've got some shit going on, get out of our town. Bobby Boy is like, nope, we're staying here. So then the corrupt police kind of send their crew to go ahead and go after Bob and his family. He's evading him, kind of confronting back and forth. We get into this almost like a underground crime ring war necessarily with this local kingpin, basically. Hutch is kind of pissed off the wrong people, burning money again, and we get this great face-off in this amusement park. Rizzo's back, Christopher Lloyd's back, everyone's doing the same shit from last movie, but it's just amped up a little more. And
it is.
We basically end the exact same way as Nobody Again, dude. This is just, I don't want to say it's a safe sequel, but it's a very true to formula sequel in a good way. And it's odd because movies like these kind of sleeper action films, they always kind of feel like cult classics. This feels like a blockbuster rental, right? And when you have the sequels to these kind of films, they're usually never great. I know we were praising Batista earlier. An action film that came out of nowhere that I really liked was Escape Plan with Arnold and Stallone, dude. The sequel, they recast Arnold and Dave Bautista with Stallone. It's not great. It's really not good. There's a third one even, too. But thankfully, Nobody 2 does this weird thing where it kind of breaks that, weird sequel curse. It's really, really solid, and it stays true to formula in a good way. So, what are some of your overall thoughts on Nobody 2, Dakari?
I really enjoyed this. This was actually pretty good. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, but I still had a great time watching it. Again, another movie with a message, another movie with the same particular message, even though it kind of follows some of the same story beats. It is amped up a little more. The family is definitely more so in danger this time instead of, Hutch being in danger for the most of the first one. Because it was mainly about Hutch just coming out of his shell. And, by the time we get to Nobody 2, Hutch has already come out of that shell, but it's just he has to get back into the mode when his family is being targeted throughout the whole fucking town, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes this stand out a little bit more as a sequel, because, the stakes are andied up a little bit because his family is as a whole has been put in danger. And he has to work with unlikely companions to prevent his family from being eradicated, so he has to do certain things that you wouldn't expect him to do in order to do it. For example, there is a scene in the film where the corrupt sheriff of the Plummerville, where the water park is being held for the vacation, the sheriff is, obviously money laundering with the Russians, like the first film and almost. And they are pretty much holding, what's his name? I don't think is he the mayor? Is he the mayor of the town?
The sheriff?
He's something. He's akin to the sheriff, but it's this big name guy in the town, and he has a son that is pretty much bullied that pretty much not bully, but he pretty much bullies Bob Odenkirk's son. And you know when you bully Bob Odenkirk's son and you mess with Bob Odenkirk's family, you get fucked up. So the reason why I say he has to do things that you wouldn't necessarily expect him to do in this case, the I'm just calling him the big sheriff instead of the regular sheriff.
Yeah,
So the regular sheriff is money laundering, but the big sheriff's son is actually being kidnapped by the regular sheriff for ransom, aside to the money laundering. So when he sees and when Bob Odenkirk realizes that the big sheriff's son is being kidnapped, he's like, "Oh no, y'all getting fucked up." You know what I'm saying? Because we listen, like putting children in danger for your own personal gain is a fucking bitch move, and you deserve you deserve to get your ass beat for that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's exactly what happens. He saved the big sheriff's son, and then him and the big sheriff pretty much just come together and realize that they're on the same side and they're on the same mission, and they come together along with RZA and Christopher Lloyd to pretty much eradicate the big baddie behind these operations and the person who's pretty much responsible for putting Bob Odenkirk's family in danger. And, you know, yeah, it is kind of akin to the first one. It feels a lot like the first one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not really like the greatest thing about this movie either, because you kind of expect certain things to happen and they do happen, but what makes this stand out as a sequel is the fact that it puts its emphasis on the family more than it does the first film, which the first film feels like a singular effort, with the focus on Bob Odenkirk's character just coming out of his shell. With this one, this is really about everyone coming together to save their children, to save their kin, and to protect their kin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really love the messages of these films. Yes, they're violent. Yes, they're vulgar. They're graphic. They're this. They're that. They're not for kids on the surface level. Da 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 da. These are movies that'll fuck your brain up if you watch too much of them. But god damn it, if you actually sit down and watch the movies for what they are and for what they're trying to say, you'll take something away from them. Realize how timely they are and realize how important these messages are, specifically with what we got going on now in current events. The world is falling apart, and we need movies with messages like these. You know what I'm saying? Even if they have a little violence in them. So I really appreciated this movie.
I agree, dude.
And RZA has one of the best action sequences in this movie. He's fighting with the goddamn samurai sword in this film, with one of the main baddies henchmen who's fighting with a machete.
Oh my god, it's such a cold one.
He pretty much slices this. He does a whole Mortal Kombat fatality. He said, principle number one, never bring a machete to a fucking katana fight.
So goddamn cold, dude. I love RZA in this
shit
movie.
Is so cool, bro. Hey, after this, I think RZA should get a restart when it comes to him doing action movies as a lead, because he did the Man with the Iron Fist movies. I'm not sure if you've seen those.
I have not. No, they've been on my list for a minute.
You should watch them. The first one is actually pretty decent. The second one's kind of terrible, but the first one is the first one's pretty decent. It's a big, clear homage to the old school kung fu movies. The Shaw Brothers movies that I told you about. It's a very big homage to those movies. But the reason why that one is better in comparison to the second one is because not only did RZA co-write it, he wrote the story and he directed and he starred in it, but you can tell he did because of the influences that are present in that film.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? The second one just feels cheap as hell. It doesn't feel inspired at all, and it feels like a made-for-TV movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not very good at all. It's that first one that stands out, and what's incredible about it is it's his directorial debut.
I knew it was his directorial debut. And that's one of the reasons why I want to watch it.
It's good. It's worth a watch. It's a culmination of not just the things that RZA stands for and the things that have inspired RZA over the years, but it's a culmination of what Wu-Tang stands for as a whole, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, Man with the Iron Fist is still a movie I enjoy to this day, so I feel like RZA should get a reset of him being the lead in action movies after this, because his scenes in this movie are great, specifically that one. But yeah, Nobody 2 is a hell of a good time, and I would definitely be sure to watch this again.
And what would you rate Nobody 2 as well, Dakari?
I'll give this the best spin.
Okay, cool.
Again, a lot of it feels very similar. I feel like there is also a lot more going on, and that could be for better or for worse when it comes to the film narratively. Because you have a lot of things you got to focus on. Okay, what are these motherfuckers doing? How are they operating? And what's the family doing? Is the family okay? You know, it's just a lot. Sometimes it can feel like there's a lot happening, but it all comes together in the end. And I didn't like this. I wouldn't say this is better than the first, but it's definitely almost as good. And I had a blast watching it. Yeah, Nobody 2.
Okay, you beautifully put, actually. Um, my thoughts are kind of echoing a lot of yours. RZA is incredible in this. Obviously, the action sequence you mentioned is hilarious and also incredibly badass. I love Christopher Lloyd in this
Yes.
too. I know we get him
Oh
in the
yeah, he's
last
awesome.
one, and it's cool because it's Christopher Lloyd being a badass, but you do feel a bit more of heart with Christopher Lloyd in this one, I'd say. I really, of course, like Bob Odenkirk in this one, but what really stood out for me was his wife, actually, in this. I'm drawing a blank on
Yes,
her
absolutely.
name, but she,
Connie Nielsen. Connie Nielsen.
yeah, not only does she literally save the day in this fucking thing, but like her
Yeah.
performance stands out in the first one. I understand she's kind of a side character in the first, but like way to go to bring her up actually and to make her a character in this and not just an extra. I do appreciate that we maintain consistency with keeping the kids not only relevant, but also like pretty cool. Like the first one, I didn't feel like the as much as a dad movie as Nobody is. I don't feel that the first one is like, oh, he's going to go get his daughter's watch. Like, oh, dude, like go
No.
fucking get your daughter's shit. Like go be that dad,
Exactly.
And thankfully we get the same
Exactly.
kind of energy in here and it doesn't miss a beat. When you get that moment with the security guard kind of like shoving the daughter as they're exiting through the arcade, it's a oh
I'm like,
shit moment.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's time.
And
It's
just
time.
like his wife knows in the film when he's like, I forgot my phone. As an audience member, we're feeling the exact
No,
same way,
no.
So I really enjoyed the hell out of this. This isn't like I wouldn't say the Nobody movies are necessarily perfect, but they are my favorite when it comes to this modern day revenge genre that we've talked so much about. We've already covered all four of the John Wick films. We've covered Nobody 1, and we've covered Sisu, and here we are covering Nobody 2 with Ballerina this episode, and eventually, we were talking off camera, Dakari, Sisu 2 just got a trailer today, so I imagine we'll cover Sisu 2 whenever we cover Free Guy, the movie we didn't get a chance to cover last year that's also kind of in this genre, with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. But out of all those, the Nobody ones are definitely my favorite, and I'm here for it. If we get a third, I'll definitely go see that in theaters too. As much as I
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed the first two, I'm sold, man. Just keep it up.
Yeah,
Just keep it up.
I think the third film should be like uh focus more on like the kids. It should be focused more on the kids. And the kids should, be shown kind of protecting the family because like the wife was shown coming out of her shell. So I feel like with each movie,
Oh, I see what
each
you're
movie
saying.
should like have a focus on somebody coming out their shell. The first movie was Hutch coming out of his shell. The second
Hmm.
movie was the wife coming out of her shell. Third movie should be the kids coming out their shell in a way.
Almost
You
like
know
a
what I'm
good
saying?
version
It
of
should,
what Die Hard should have done with those movies.
exactly. It'll be a nice little parallel going on with the three films. I feel like that'll be dope.
Okay, I hear you. For me, though, for a rating, though, this is
Hmm.
also a Bestman. I don't really know what could
Yeah.
have made this movie better. I hope I like it even more on a rewatch. I'm definitely debating getting them physically at some point. Maybe a nice little 2-pack or a 3-pack if it turns into a trilogy. But I really did enjoy the hell out of this. I think other than Sinners this
Mm,
year, this might be like my second favorite movie so far. So really fun one.
shit, man.
Really fun one, dude. But let's talk about another action film that came out earlier this year that we didn't cover initially in the podcast. That is, of course, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. And, God, what a fucking mouthful of a title, dude. Dakari, go ahead and give us your recap for this film, and then I want to talk a little bit about the marketing for this. So let me hear what
Oh
you got for a
shit, you want to
recap.
talk to marketing?
Yeah, let me hear it.
Okay, yeah, sure. So this film is pretty much a spin-off. It's a spin-off of the John Wick series. I mean, John Wick is in it, yeah. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. This movie takes place between 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna see a couple moments with John Wick, and Lance Reddick is still in this film. Rest in peace, God rest his soul. But it's pretty much about this lady by the name of Eve who was trained in the traditions of the Roscaroma, and she takes on an army of killers as she seeks revenge for those responsible for the death of her. Was this her father, her guardian, or
Her
something? I'm not
father.
sure if that's her father. Yeah, that was her father. Yes, and she witnesses her father being killed, like at the beginning, like she's a little girl, and she's seeing this happening right in front of her eyes. So, I mean, shit. We already off to an interesting start, and then we pretty much just go from that to seeing her training and pretty much doing shit on her own after that. It's a very easy to follow movie.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. And you mentioned it earlier too. We do get some stuff with John Wick in this, and I think
Yeah.
that is my issue. Now I know last week
Okay.
we had the chance to discuss Casino Royale, which is the start of the James Bond Craig series. The only other James Bond film we've covered in the podcast was No Time to Die, which is the last one that Craig did. And where Ana de Armas,
Right.
who is, of course, the lead in Ballerina, she's Eve, is also in that film.
Right.
If you've seen No Time to Die, this isn't a spoiler necessarily. She was advertised during the horrendous marketing thing back and forth with Apple. Like, it was like a year long, almost too long year delay for everything because of the pandemic, too, for that movie. Damn, I forgot about that. But,
Yeah, that movie got delayed by like 3, 4 different times.
Yeah. But during all that marketing process, Anna is promoted at what we assume is the Bond girl. And obviously, from watching that film, we know she isn't the Bond girl. We go back to a different one
Fuck no.
for plot points. And she gets a great scene in that film in No Time to Die, despite being such a short role.
Oh yeah.
I remember there being like weird conversations of that getting a spinoff about Anna and her character, right when like MGM.
Oh yeah, that shit ain't fucking happening.
I know now it isn't because of the whole MGM Amazon whatever, but like I remember that conversation, and it was kind of like what does this look like if we do James Bond spinoffs, and then all of a sudden we're doing a John Wick spinoff with her instead. I don't really know. Like, when I'm watching Ballerina, the whole time, the first hour and a half of this movie, I'm just confused. And I'm like, why is this in the John Wick universe? Like, I understand it's in the universe. I see the things that connects it. I get the directors here. I get Winston's here. I get Lance Reddick's here. I get the Continental. It's right in my face. This is in the John Wick universe. And then I have not watched the Continental show. So maybe that does something more for this universe to make it feel like a universe than I have the impression of. So if that's the case, then that's on me for not consuming that media. But I know that's a prequel way before the John Wick films even. So coming back to the spinoff, the whole time though, other than the scene, 20 minutes deep into it where we see John Wick, which I believe takes place during the first film, if I'm not mistaken, or shortly after the second one. Kind of like in that time period where he's like coming in here for information, discussing the puppy. Other than that, I'm just torn and like, why does this need to take place in this universe? Like, this to me seems like someone watched No Time to Die and wanted to make a spinoff for that, and then somehow that got thrown into John Wick instead.
Yeah.
And
good point.
That opening scene, or not opening scene, but that scene 20 minutes deep with John Wick and the literal title of this film being From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. Those two aspects kept sitting in the back of my mind as I'm watching this. And I'm just so blown away that like they're not letting this movie stand on its own necessarily. Like, there's some cool deaths here and there, some cool fights. It's a lot of style over substance. And then we get to the last 30 minutes. And the last 30 minutes completely saves this movie for me. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but the last 30 minutes makes it a good movie. A weird issue that I think you and I have talked about on the podcast before, like a weird thing when people are making these spin-offs and different series that are very similar or rebooting, it seems that we're torn and put in the position where it's like, okay, if we're doing something new, we're doing it for the sake of just doing it. And I think the biggest example of that is the 2016 Ghostbusters. Do I even need to say more about that? It's a terrible movie.
I haven't even seen that.
Oh, it's fucking atrocious, and it sucks because I like some of those actors in that movie, dude. I love Melissa McCarthy. I think it's one of the worst things she's done, genuinely. Like, I don't know. This movie feels like at first it just wants to be a female John Wick movie, and like, as cool as that might sound on paper, that really takes away from it being John Wick. Like, the whole point,
right?
And it doesn't even matter it's a woman or a man. I don't give a fuck. John Wick is John Wick. The whole point is we're watching Keanu do these things. So I don't know. I was just kind of left like, what the fuck am I actually watching? And then we get to the point where we see her go against John Wick, and that fight scene right there, I almost wish happened at the very beginning of this film, because at that point, it becomes very, very clear, and not just because we're literally seeing two different people, but like Anna's whole like personality for me, or her whole motive kind of like shifts for a bit. Like, I'm no longer seeing her as a rewritten John Wick. I'm seeing her as Anna. I'm seeing her, straight up. She cannot beat the Baba Yaga. Like, he's that guy still, as we've seen in all the other films, and he's just so unstoppable. So I like seeing her as this flawed character. It reminds me during that fight sequence of like early Batman Year One kind of stuff, or Batman Arkham Origins, where like we do have this badass character. We know what they're capable of, but they're just not so refined and perfect yet, Like, they're like 80% of the way there. And I feel like if we had that fight scene, or if we had just anything else that would have just seen her struggle a bit more through these than just getting her ass thrown around the ice for a fight when she's in that red dress in the club, like, I would have felt more with that character. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a different motive. She's after revenge because her dad. It's a 5-minute, 10-minute opening scene. I get the same thing of John Wick. You know what I'm saying? I understand John Wick has 4 movies going after. It's a bit more of a build-up at that point. But if I'm comparing just the first film, the motive feels identical. Like, I care, but I don't care, And so I don't know. I felt very conflicted with this up until that fight scene when I really got to see Eve shine as a character. Of course, the finale for this is a pretty cool, like, triumphant moment with her as well, too. But yeah, I just wish this movie knew what it wanted to be a lot earlier. Like, I feel that this was written backwards. I feel they had the ending, the third act in mind first, and they kind of just wrote whatever they could to get to that point. I know this movie kind of sets up a sequel, or possibly just seeing the character again in a different spinoff or a sequel. I don't know. I hope this doesn't get a spinoff or a sequel. Like, I feel like, again, that takes away from what this character is capable of and just sets her up to be more like a John Wick clone. And that's not fair to the character of Eve. It's not fair to Anna coming in here. Because, like, dude, if you're in the same boat as me and you've been following this weird kind of like James Bond cross John Wick history, like, this has been a little bit in the coming, a little bit long time, This is like 4 or 5 years of like, all right, I want to see her kick some fucking ass, So for that and those reasons, this is a Naboo for me. One thing we also didn't get to mention was Norman Reedus in this. He's the father of the little girl that Eve's trying to protect because she sees herself in her kind of thing. I love Norman Reedus in The Walking Dead. And I haven't seen Boondock Saints. That's my own problem. And I haven't played the Death Stranding games. But, like, I only like Norman Reedus in The Walking Dead. I don't know why the dude can't get a fucking haircut for any other role going forward. He just looks like Daryl. He sounds like Daryl. I just didn't buy it, dude. Like, he took me out of the movie completely. Thankfully, in one of these scenes coming after, I don't know the guy's name. He's the gun shop owner. Where he, like, that's the almost like Batcave kind of style thing where the bookcase behind him goes in and there's this round table of guns in the armory. That scene locked me back in, but Norman Reedus took me way the hell out for a minute. So yeah, for me, this is a Naboo. What are some of your thoughts on this, Dakari, and your rating for Ballerina?
Yeah, I pretty much kind of feel the same way that you do. The final 40, 30 minutes of this movie really, kind of saves it. I feel like
Mm.
overall the film does have some of the best action sequences of the year, but that last half definitely cemented that because they brought the fucking flamethrowers out,
Oh
and
yeah,
then the fight,
dude.
yeah,
And
and then the fight
the ice
scene
rink
with
scene of the
right.
skates.
Yeah, that shit was fucking nuts. And then the fight scene with her and John Wick I thought was great. Um, this is just a very easy to follow movie, and that could be for better or for worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we didn't get besides her wanting revenge, I feel like we didn't get enough of Eve as a character. I feel like we didn't get enough of arc development across the board when it came to her as a character, her sister being a part of the assassination squad that wants her dead. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot of nuances in this movie that I felt could have been elaborated a little bit more. But overall, man, it's not terrible. I did enjoy myself watching it. It's just it's not particularly great. Um, it's a movie that you can pretty much just put on in the background while you cleaning or doing chores or washing clothes. You know what I'm saying? You can stop for a second and look at how cool the action sequences are, but that's pretty much it. And of course, it's always great seeing Keanu Reeves, and it's always I really liked, for some odd reason, I really liked what they did with her and John Wick in this movie. For some odd reason, I liked that.
I
I
agree.
didn't mind that at all. I didn't mind that at all. That was actually an interesting dynamic that they had because when this takes place between 3 and 4. So John Wick is literally at a crossroads right now, the same way Eve is at a crossroads, dealing with this, whether or not she wants to take revenge or leave entirely.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to come together and kind of just, find an ultimatum for the both of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I find that very interesting. But, everything else was just pretty base level. It was just a standard action movie fare.
Yeah.
And that's not to say it was terrible or nothing. It just wasn't like anything that swept me off my feet. It's just like I'm going to be here recommending this to somebody like, okay, yeah, I recommend Ballerina. I'm not gonna be saying, oh, you gotta see Ballerina. This shit is amazing. No, I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, go ahead and watch it. It's a good movie. It's
It's
a good movie.
something where, like, if I catch it on TV and it's already halfway over, I can then lock in. I can then
Exactly.
appreciate, like, oh shit, Ballerina's on. It's one of those. It's one of those, man. What would you rate it though, Dakari?
I'll give it an Abu on the way to Bespin.
Okay, fair enough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Decent movie, not terrible. The movie is most definitely saved by the final 40-30 minutes. That shit right there, some of the best action sequences of the year, by a long shot. But it's decent.
Yeah,
It's just fine.
yeah, I feel you, dude.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what comes out. It looks like next year with Sisu 2, or later this year. I'm not even sure the release date is on that film just yet. But of course, we'll be talking more of these revenge films for our listeners. Links down below to our previous episode discussing Nobody in Sisu, and our other episode discussing all 4 of the John Wick movies in one episode. But yeah, Dakari, I think it's going to go wrap it up for 2025's finest when it comes to action.
Well, shit. I mean, you got fucking Thunderbolts. I mean, Thunderbolts counts as an action movie.
Yeah,
That
but,
might be the
like,
best action movie of the year.
I'm talking just straight, like, on a, like, it's unadulterated, like, just like, tangled up action. Like, it's its own solo thing.
Oh yeah. I can't say that about Mission Impossible though. Unfortunately,
I forgot that
I gotta
came out
watch.
this year.
Yeah, dude. Like I gotta watch it again, but on first watch, it's really not great. I gotta watch it again though. It's not great though. It's not great.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, Dakari, I think it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week, man. I know next week on the podcast, we're doing things a little bit different for our listeners. First off, I know we talked last week about how we're going to be incorporating video into the weekly podcast. But if you guys are listening to episode 2, episode 1 should be out on YouTube by now. We did have a little delays. Same reason we had delays for the audio coming out. It's coming out, I promise, though, guys. But episodes 1 and 2, you may notice, despite there being a video format, it's also just audio. Episode 3 we'll be introducing on camera video for our new kind of episodes we're doing. So we're not just discussing films next week, we're discussing the DC Absolute Universe, which is a new comic series coming on, and kind of how we would like to see that adapted into film or television. If you're a long-term listener of Galaxy of Film, refer way back to Season 1. We did an episode like this, very similar, discussing the Star Wars High Republic series. So it'll be an interesting conversation, changing some things up here at the podcast. Stay tuned. That's next week, though, for some DC Absolute Universe. And until then, you guys can go ahead and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, for all of our other podcasts and films. We got a bunch more coming up, guys. A lot of going on stuff on our website, too. We have articles now. We got music coming out soon. Dakari, it's just a lot, dude. We got a lot coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nuts. Only the best here at Galaxy of Film, though.
Only the best. Only the best.
But for our listeners, thank you so much for sticking around. We can't wait to see you guys next week of episode 3 of season 4. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us an iTunes or Spotify review. It truly does help out the show much more than you can imagine. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
You can find all our other podcast, original films, articles, and music on our website, galaxyoffilm.com. We're also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content and our Facebook fan club for early access to our films.